friends, I welcome you all to this video lecture on engineering mechanics. This video lecture is about friction, and as we have already two lectures of friction on YouTube. So this is lecture 3 on friction. In this video lecture we are going to discuss numericals on friction. So we have already done concepts of friction in the previous two lectures, and we are going to do numerical, only and only numerical in this video lecture. If you all are interested in numericals on friction, this is the video lecture for you. So let's start with the numericals. So my dear friends, there are three blocks are placed on the surface one above the other as shown in the figure. The static coefficient of friction between the blocks are shown like this, and we are supposed to determine the maximum value of P that can be applied before any slipping takes place. When we apply a force P like this, there are three possibilities. Possibility 1, only block A will slide. Only block A will slide, B and C will remain on the same position. Another possibility, A will not slide, A will slide with B. That is, A and B are going to slide together and C will remain at the rest. Third possibility, all the three blocks will slide with respect to the ground. So there are total three possibilities. Only the upper block will move, only the upper two block will move, all the three block will move. So let's do the analysis, let's do the static analysis on these blocks, and let's see what is the maximum amount of force which can be applied before any slipping takes place. So let's do the analysis considering that only the upper block moves. So considering that only upper block of 80 Newton moves and the lower block of 50 and 40 Newton remains as it is. So we know that the coefficient of friction between block A and block B is 0.4. So let's draw the free body diagram of the question. So the block A is of 80 Newton, it is going to experience a normal reaction N1, and it is going to experience a frictional force in the direction opposite to the impending force. So it is 0.4 times N1, as mu is equals to 0.4. Applying condition of equilibrium, summation Fy equals to 0. There are only two vertical forces which gives N1 equals to 80 Newton. Applying second condition of equilibrium, summation Fx equals to 0. Only two forces are there, P and friction. So we got value of P equals to 32 Newton. Is it clear, my dear friend? When only the upper block moves, the force requirement is 32 Newton. Let's see the next case. Let's consider that the upper two blocks, the upper block of 80 Newton and 50 Newton moves with respect to the lowest block. So the coefficient of friction between the B and C is given as 0.25 Newton. So B is going to experience a friction force mu times N. So the total weight of the block is 80 plus 50. The lower block is going to experience a normal reaction, and it is also going to experience the friction force. So the coefficient of friction was 0.25. So the friction force is 0.25 N2. Applying the condition of equilibrium, in the vertical direction there are only two forces. So N2 is equals to 130 Newton. In the horizontal direction there are only two forces. So we got the value of P equals to 32.5 Newton. So in the case 1, we got the disturbing force requirement as 32 Newton, and in the case 2, the disturbing force requirement as 32.5 Newton. Let's see the third case. In the third case, what will happen? All the three blocks, block A, block B and block C, is going to slip with respect to the ground, and the coefficient of friction between block C and the ground is 0.15. So the total weight of all the three blocks will be the addition of the weights 80 plus 50 plus 40, that is going to act vertically downward, and the ground is going to offer a normal reaction perpendicular to it. Let us consider that as N3. Because of the applied force P, there will be a friction force in the direction opposite to the applied force. So my dear friend, so there is a friction force in the opposite direction 0.15 N3. So applying condition of equilibrium, we got N3 is equals to 170 Newton, and applying summation Fx equals to 0 gives 25.5 Newton. So my dear friend, case 1 says P equals to 32 Newton, case 2 says P is equals to 32.5 Newton, case 3 says P equals to 25.5 Newton. So the maximum value is 32.5 Newton, but 32.5 Newton is wrong answer. My dear friend, as we are increasing the force, the value 25.5 Newton comes first. And when the value of force P equals to 25.5 Newton, all the three blocks moves together. When all the three blocks move together, all the three blocks are disturbed. So case 1 and case 2 does not exist. So the minimum value or the maximum value of P is 25.5 Newton. At P equals to 25.5 Newton, all the three blocks are going to slip, and that is the maximum value as well as the minimum value. So the question will ask either the minimum value or maximum value. It is the minimum of all the cases is the answer in this case. Is that okay, my dear friend? So whenever we see such type of question, we have to remember that we are not supposed to find the maximum value. We are supposed to find the condition where there is disturbance, where there is a slip of the block. Is that okay? Let's move to the next question. The next question says that there is a cupboard whose weight is 120 kg and it is to be shifted in the right direction. If we want to shift it in the right direction, we are supposed to apply force in the right direction. What is the minimum force required to move the cupboard, and what is the largest value of height where the cupboard does not tips? So before I solve this numerical, I would like to explain you all, my dear friend. Tipping is a process. We may have experienced whenever we try to push a cupboard, sometimes the cupboard tilts about its opposite leg. You all may have experienced that a heavy object tips or tilts. That rotation of the object, that rotation of the cupboard about leg is known as tipping. So my dear friend, here we are talking about tipping. Tipping is a rolling or rotating of the cupboard with respect to one of its leg under the influence of external force. So we are supposed to find the minimum value of force P in this question, and we are supposed to find the location beyond which the cupboard does not rotate about this edge. Is that okay, my dear friend? If we apply a force about this point at the top of the cupboard in the right direction, it is going to rotate about this leg. Is that okay? It is going to rotate about this edge. It is given that the cupboard's width is 0.8 meter and the height is 2 meter. So we are supposed to find two things. Number one, the minimum value of force P to move the cupboard. Number two, what is the largest distance from the ground beyond which if we increase the height, the cupboard will tip. So what is tipping, my dear friend? Tipping is the tilting of the cupboard under the influence of external force. Is that okay, my dear friend? So let's do the analysis. So it was given that the cupboard was having a weight of 120 kg. So the weight acts vertically downward. So there are four forces over here. What are the four forces, my dear friend? The four forces are like this. Number one, its weight acting vertically downward. Its weight is acting vertically downward, which is going to experience, and the cupboard is going to experience a normal reaction with respect to the ground surface. Am I correct? The cupboard is pushed with the help of force P. So the cupboard is going to experience a friction force in the direction opposite. Is that okay, my dear friend? So we have done in previous numerical where we have seen there were four forces. So with the help of that, we get N is equals to W, and 120 into 9.81 is 117.2. So we got normal reaction on the cupboard as 1177.2 Newton. Is that okay? When we apply the force to move the cupboard is experiencing a frictional force. Am I correct? The cupboard is experiencing a frictional force, and coefficient of friction is given as 0.3. So P minus 0.3 N, where 0.3 into N is the frictional force. So we get the value of P. So the value of force P is 353.2 Newton. So when we apply a force P of 353.2 Newton, the cupboard slides in the right direction. Is that okay, my dear friend? So it was again a simple question as similar to the previous question. There were also four forces, here also there are four forces. Is that okay? Next, as we have already understood, when we apply a force on the cupboard, there is a probability of cupboard tipping about the opposite edge. As we are applying a force in the right direction from the left side, so about the right bottom corner it may rotate about this point A. So let's take moment about this point A. Okay? Let's remain this H as unknown. So when I take moment about this point A, there are only two forces. Number one, the weight of the cupboard acting at the centroid of the cupboard. Is that okay? Number two, this horizontal force which is pushing the cupboard in the right direction. Is that okay, my dear friend? So taking moment about point A, this weight is creating an anti-clockwise moment and this force is creating a clockwise moment. So applying the moment about point A, we get the value of h. Is that okay? So this weight is 120 into 9.81, that is 1177.2, and the perpendicular distance is half the width, that is 0.4. Well, so when I multiply 117.2 into 0.4, it is creating anti-clockwise moment, and this 353.2 Newton is horizontal, the rightward force. So any vertical distance is the perpendicular distance, and we are supposed to find that. So considering that as h max, at h max it is going to rotate. So I have taken h max. So it is creating a clockwise moment. So I have taken minus 353.2 into h, and we get the value of h as 1.3. So this cupboard of 2 meter will not tip till a height of 1.33 meter. अब 1.5 meter पे force लगाइए, the cupboard is going to rotate about its bottom edge. Is that okay, my dear friend? So here in this question we have understood a topic known as tipping, which is nothing but rotation of the cupboard about its opposite edge. Is that okay, my dear friend? Let's see the next question. This is the last question. So my dear friend, let's read the next question. The next question says, if the coefficient of static friction is 0.3 for all the surfaces, determine the smallest amount of force P required to raise the block A. Neglect the weight of wedge B. It is given that the weight of block A is 3000 Newton. The weight of wedge A is 3000 Newton. Is that okay, my dear friend? So the wedge A is of 3000 Newton, and we are supposed to neglect the weight of wedge B, and we are supposed to determine the minimum force P required to lift that upper wedge of 3000 Newton. So let's do the analysis, my dear friend. So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to draw the free body diagram of both the wedges. So the upper wedge is experiencing a force of 3000 Newton. The lower wedge is weightless. It is under the influence of external force P. The lower wedge is going to experience normal reaction at all the contact surfaces. As the lower wedge is under the influence of rightward force P, so it is going to experience tangential frictional force to all the contact surfaces. So we have shown 0.3 R1 and 0.3 R2 as the frictional forces at the contact surfaces. Now the upper wedge and the lower wedge are in contact with each other, so they are going to exert equal and opposite forces to each other. So if there is two reactions R2 and 0.3 R2 on the lower wedge, so at the same contact surface there will be equal and opposite force. So we have shown that. Is that okay, my dear friend? So also this wall is going to give a reaction to the upper wedge. So considering that reaction as R3, and as the upper wedge is going to move upwards, so it is going to experience a frictional force in the downward direction. With this, we complete the free body diagram of both the wedges. Now we are going to do the static analysis by application of conditions of equilibrium. So applying condition of equilibrium on the upper wedge. So when we apply the condition of equilibrium on the upper wedge, we know that this wedge is at an angle of 10 degree. That means this surface is at an angle of 10 degree with horizontal. So this friction force is parallel to this surface, so this makes an angle 10 degree. Also the reaction will, as the surface is at an angle of 10 degree with horizontal, so the normal reaction will be at an angle of 10 degree with vertical. So considering this angle as 10 degree and this angle as 10 degree, resolving the reaction R2 and frictional force 0.3 R2 and applying condition of equilibrium. So summation Fy equals to 0 minus 0.3 R2 sin 10 plus R2 cos 10 minus 0.3 R3 minus 3000 is equals to 0. Is that okay, my dear friend? Applying summation Fx equals to 0 plus 0.3 R2 cos 10 plus R2 sin 10 minus R3 equals to 0. With these two equations, we are going to get the value of R2 and R3. So my dear friend, I request you all to use a calculator and find the value of R2 and R3. Next we are going to do the analysis of the lower wedge. The lower wedge is weightless, so it is going to experience only the applied force and the frictional force and the normal reaction. So applying the forces and applying the condition of equilibrium, as we have already resolved R2 and 0.3 R2, applying conditions of equilibrium, with the first condition of equilibrium summation Fy equals to 0, we are going to get the value of R1, and with the second condition of equilibrium summation Fx equals to 0, we are going to get the value of P, and we get the value of P as 2788 Newton. So with this, I complete this lecture on friction. I hope you all are enjoying this video lectures on friction. I wish you all the best. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you.